Okay, Mike, you've been involved in quite many international research activities. You've been involved in teaching here at the University of Witwatersrand. You were born in Kenya, have quite some experiences in African researchers networks and in African education networking. Where would you see the peculiar challenges that specifically apply on the African continent compared to other places in the world regarding education of students, regarding mentorship, regarding creating engineers that are ready for the world?
Okay, thank you, Wolfram, for this. Yes, it's true. I've been exposed to quite a number of environments in terms of experiences: Africa, Europe, Asia, not so much of Americas, but yes. And I schooled in Africa, and it's been quite interesting to travel abroad and see the different approaches to different problems. But coming back to Africa, I think for me, one of the main peculiar differences is that Africa really needs to seriously contextualize its own problems and not just, for example, take solutions that have been applied somewhere and come and try and apply them on the African continent without really first understanding what problems they have in terms of their vision. Okay, so that's for me one of the main problems. I don't know whether to say African leaders or African researchers or academics, they really lack vision. So we don't have visionary leaders, whether it's in academia or in politics or so forth. And this translates generally to our style of education, if I may say so. And if you look across Africa, you'll find that most of the curricula are still so colonial, okay, or so to speak. There have been a few modifications and transformations here and there, but most of them need to be revised or transformed in such a way that they really address Africa's challenges, not problems, but challenges. So for me, this is one of the main problems. And in terms of skills development, our curriculum needs to. One of the main things that I think is important is getting out students with skills that. One of the main important one is lifelong learning. Okay, so we need to get students that can be able to adapt. Okay, so for me nowadays we talk about adaptability quotient and not necessarily intelligence quotient. So having students that are able to adapt to different environment, different challenges, this is very important. Like for example, now we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution, and this people who are supposed to implement these were not necessarily taught on it, but they need to adopt and adjust and be able to take up the vision and implement it. So for me, this is one of the main challenges we have in Africa. And lastly is the issue of mentorship, especially with regards to senior academics in Africa or on the African continent. And this is one aspect that really needs to be taken seriously, because it is only the African researchers who will be able to develop a vision for the African continent based on their problems, and also drive that agenda. Whatever vision they have, they must develop an agenda for it and drive it. So that's the most important thing for me. And that challenge translates to lack of their visibility in fora, conferences, and so forth. So for me, this is one aspect that African researchers need to wake up and really actively be involved in solving challenges or problems that affect them.